Warm welcome to the China-ASEAN New Smart City Innovation and Entrepreneurship Competition 2020.
This competition seeks to bring ideas to benefit cities, to benefit the broader society and people in general.
If you have an idea or a product that can impact lives, the world needs to hear your voice.
The competition is open to founding entrepreneurs passionate about launching projects and also reach more youth professionals and attract them to come to Nanning.
I think it's important that we continue to find opportunities for young people in China, ASEAN and Singapore to work together to find ways to innovate and find solutions for smart cities. Extraordinary times like COVID-19 require extraordinary courage.
It is when our backs are pushed against the wall that is when the best innovative and game-changing ideas spring forth. And that is what this competition is about. It is to bring the best smart city innovation ideas across ASEAN together.
Smart Nanning aims to benefit the public, enterprise, and also governments, and focus on supporting a batch of international projects.
The event was well organized and the hospitality was incredible. So both in Singapore, where Startup X last year organized it, hospitality was really good, as well as by Cloud Bay in China.
Being able to actually share our ideas with all the different startups, learning from each other, seeing which other components we could improve on, I think that was very helpful in understanding the different components that we could.
I would like to invite youth professionals to join the 2020 competition.
If you're a startup in ASEAN who's ready for a challenge and has an innovation or an idea, we want to give you a voice so that you can impact lives.
Whether your ideas are ultimately winning entries or maybe not, that you will find within yourself the ability to enjoy the experience and learn from each other.
Take courage, don't stop innovating.
You have one pitch, let's break borders.
Hi and good evening. Welcome to the special edition of Prime Time with Sylvia. Now, it has been 9 months since the COVID-19 pandemic hits our shores. Now, this outbreak has dramatically not only changed our life, it has also impacted the world on every single level. Now, the International Labour Organization says that more than 6 young people have stopped working since the onset of COVID-19 pandemic, while those who are still working will have their working hours cut by almost 23%. Now, we have heard earlier on in the opening video from the Organising Chair of the 2020 China-ASEAN New Smart City Innovation and Entrepreneurship Competition, Mr. Caleb Low, say, it is when our backs are pushed against the wall that is when the best innovative and game-changing ideas spring forth. Now, let us bring Mr. Caleb Low right on screen for this very moment. And of course, he's not only the organizing chair of the competition, but also he is a brand coach and also an ex-co of Asia Professional Speakers Singapore. So without much further ado, let's bring Caleb right onto the screen. Hi, Caleb. Hello.
Good evening, Sylvia. Thanks for having me here today.
Thank you for joining my show on the Prime Time with Sylvia, which is a special edition especially meant for you. And how's your evening so far?
Wonderful. Mondays, I always love Mondays. You start the week on a high, right? And you just want to keep the momentum going. So we're still at that high right now. And hopefully we can sustain it all the way for the rest of the week.
You don't have Monday blues? Do you have Monday blues?
No time for Monday blues lah.
Wow, that is the spirit, especially so during this pandemic season. Yep. I believe, a lot of people is out of job, or maybe they are maybe working part-time or working hours being cut. So therefore, I find that this episode is very, very important because it is a competition that not only it can bring you and your business over to China, and on top of it, you're going to get a lot of cash prizes and a lot of your ideas being shown to the world. Am I right?
That's right. Yeah, just a start here.
Okay, so now, if any of our viewers out there, you do have any questions for Caleb, all you need to do is to log on to Primetime with Sylvia on Facebook page or even YouTube, like the page and comment only on the page, because on my platform, I can only see the questions that are being posted on Primetime with Sylvia. All right. Now, before we kickstart the questions, Caleb, I think we already have a lot of comments over here. We have Kazil Patrina Yuan in the house saying hello to you.
Hello, hi Kazia. That's an amazing name. Wow.
Yes. All
Yeah.
right. And I think she has a very pretty profile photo also. Thank you so much for supporting Primetime with Sylvia, the special edition with Mr. Caleb Low. All right. We also have Andrew Chow in the house. Let's hear from Caleb soon. Yes, we are all very excited to hear from Caleb. So I guess we're going to start off with the first question over here. Maybe you could just tell us a little bit more about this competition. For a start, right? The name is super long. 2020 China-ASEAN New Smart City Innovation and Entrepreneurship Competition. All right, you go ahead. Tell us a little bit more about this competition.
All right, so this competition, the goal is very simple. We want to bring across the best startups across ASEAN together and want to offer them inroads into China. So a little bit more about this competition. This competition is part of the China-ASEAN Expo that is based in Nanning. And this is actually a government level event held annually by the Chinese government. So it's one of those things that symbolizes the relationship between China and ASEAN. So in the build up to this expo, which will occur in the middle of November this year, one of the fringe activities, the big fringe activities, is this startup competition where we bring together the best ASEAN startups and we bring together the best the China startups, and we put them together and we see who comes up with the best ideas for this whole Expo season, right? So the Nanning government is the host of this entire event, right? And on the main organizers is CloudBay, and CloudBay is this big data company that has been tasked by Jack Ma as well as the Nanning government to spearhead the Smart City initiative of Nanning, right? And Nanning is meant to be a test bed for all Smart City initiatives across all China. So whatever goes through Nanning, it will be rolled out to the rest of China. So this is the role of this company, CloudBay, who is the main organizer of this event. Now, as we move closer to home in Singapore, right? My company, To Be Compass, we are the ASEAN division organizers, and we are co-organized with the support of SCAPE Singapore as well as the Singapore University of Social Sciences. Right, so we are working hard together between the Chinese government as well as the government partners in Singapore as well as SUSS. We're working together to make this a success because we want to see startups to think big, to thrive, and to be able to soar.
Ah, I see. And I realized that this competition has got really great sponsors out there. Let's take a look at the sponsor over here. Wow, it's sponsored by CloudBay, Yun Baobao, 你所讲的 earlier on, right? And of course, To Be Compass, that belongs to our Caleb. SUS is the National University of Singapore, Social Science and SCAPE, right? What's the other one on the far left corner?
Okay, so these aren't the sponsors. These are we're all the organizing committee, right? Yeah, and the logo on the left is the Nanning government's logo, and that's part of the China-ASEAN Expo. That's the China-ASEAN Expo logo. Yeah.
I see. Okay. And that's a very, very great introduction over there. And you know what? I have a lot of comments coming in. Let's take a look at the comments before we proceed further. We have Ai Hui, hi, who say, Caleb, give you a thumbs up. You want to say hi to Ai Hui? Hello, Ai Hui. And we also have our Rodna, right? Radna Jita. Say hello.
Hey, Radna, how's it going?
Yeah, and we also have Katrina, and she's saying that shy because we were saying that she's got a beautiful profile, Leon. Do ask questions, okay? All right, we have Andrew Chow who say our team is here too. Wow, hi Andrew Chow's team. Thank you so much for the support for Caleb. He is a very, very dynamic young man, I must say that. All right, and Caleb say Andrew say hashtag startup. All right. So soon I have a question. This event is a springboard to network with the biggest minds of ideas for smart cities and inroads to China's market. And plus the winner will receive business mentoring from CloudBay too. And we also have lastly Ai Hui too say hello once again. Thank you. Thank you everybody for the support. Keep those questions coming in. Now, Caleb is the man with a genius brain. All right. If you want to make more money, you want to win this competition, you have got to dig his brain, comment on the comment section, ask him the question. I'll get him to answer all the questions for you. All right. Now let's check out some photos over here. I have this photo over here. Want to tell us a little bit more about who are all these wonderful and gorgeous people in the photo?
Yeah, my pleasure. So was last year's ASEAN Division semi-finals, and it was through this competition that was held in Scape last year that we sent our top 12 teams to Nanning to pitch there live in front of a televised audience in front of millions of people. Yeah, so this was just the ASEAN Division semi-finals, and I was privileged to be one of the judges last year among a very, very esteemed panel. Yeah, I think it was through this competition that I got to know some of the teams intimately, and we're still connected, on a social level, even till today, right? So it was a very good time to network with all the brilliant minds across ASEAN. We had Germans participating, we had Thais participating, Indonesians, Singaporeans, Malaysians. It was a time just to get together, the ASEAN strength, the ASEAN unity.
Yes, it's definitely the ASEAN unity, because through this photo over here, I can see that Caleb is enjoying himself taking a selfie. The rest of them, are they judges or are they participants?
Oh, they were our fellow
photo?
judges. Yes.
I see. So there's total of 5 judges. This is for this round, for the semi-finals round, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Let's check out the next photo over here. This is spectacular. Where did you have this judging? I mean, the judges, where are they? Are they in Nanning currently?
Yeah, so this photo was taken live in Nanning. It was taken in a studio. So there were bright camera lights. There were 6-meter tall screens behind the participants, and it was televised to, I believe, millions of people within Nanning and maybe even beyond Nanning as well. So it was a very high-level scale event, and the Chinese government takes it very, very seriously.
Yes, I can see that, because the next photo I'm going to show you and all the viewers out there, check out the finale, which is the grand finals of 2019, the competition. Check out the lightings and everything. They really spend a lot, even just on the grand finals only. Am I right, Caleb?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the lights are so bright that one of the finalists who's a student in SUTD in Singapore, said he had to wear makeup for the first time in his life so that his face would not have the washed out effect. So that's how professional the entire event was, at least last year when they had the chance to fly to Nanning and to be hosted personally by Cloud Bay.
Yes, I totally agree. And Caleb, China has spent a very great deal of efforts to win over ASEAN trust. And of course, they signed the free trade agreement in November 2021, right? I just want to ask, why is it Nanning? And how do you think it will benefit ASEAN startups?
That's a very good question. So thanks for asking this, Sylvia. So Nanning, we need to understand what's the importance of Nanning today, right? It's just a few years ago, Nanning was an unknown city. It was probably a third-tier city, but in a span of a few years, Nanning has moved up the ladder. I believe it is at second-tier equivalent. On top of that, it's also been categorized under the special economic zone by the Chinese government, and not many cities get to be accorded this designation. And why all this sudden advancement to push Nanning up into the city? Well, because of this one reason. We all are familiar with this term called One Belt, One Road, or 一带路. We all have heard of it some way, shape, or form, through media, through TV, through Facebook. And it's just simply a way of connecting China to the rest of the world, right? So China is connected towards Europe through the western border, but China is also connected to ASEAN by the southern border, right? And where Nanning is situated strategically is literally at the border of ASEAN. So as a result, they see it as a strategic place. It's at the border of ASEAN. It is also facing the South China Sea River. So in terms of trade relations, they have 2 routes: by One Belt Road land methods, or by sea. So they see it as a gateway to develop China and ASEAN relationships. In fact, I had the privilege of being invited there by Cloud Bay 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago. And here's some of the things that I saw. In Singapore, right, we are known to have very smooth roads compared to the rest of ASEAN, right? Our roads are very, very smooth. When I arrived in Nanning, from the airport, we will drive through the countryside, through the outer city skirts and into the city. The roads were smoother than any single road you will find in Singapore. That's how advanced this sudden birth of a city came about. And one of the things that really struck me, it's like this inner geek in me came out when I went to this 7-Eleven equivalent concept store. You could just go inside, take anything you want, and you walk out, and the payment will automatically be deducted to your bank account. You just walk in,
so they're
take whatever you
using
want,
the
and you walk
e-wallet
out.
thing, right?
It's not
Okay.
even an e-wallet. There's a mixture of facial recognition, weight differences, the products that you pick off the shelf. There's a lot of data that's just running through the entire store at any one time. So much so that you just walk in, walk out, payment is done. If you don't take anything, no payment is made. That's how advanced this city is. And it's blew my mind because I think as a young Singaporean boy, we always think, yeah, China, backward lah, dirty lah. Wow, I was so humble, no? So humble, yeah.
So earlier on you were saying that the One Belt Road and it's very near to the South China Sea. Am I right? Okay, is location something that's very important for startups and having businesses with China? Do you think geographical location is an important thing?
Right, I think as a Singaporean, we all have to agree that geographical location plays a very, very important role. Yeah, I think so. That's something that many people in ASEAN have always understood. And I think Singapore as a country with no resources, right? The only reason why we managed to come out of nowhere as the startup country was because we had great people and we had a great geographical location. I think similarly, for nations that want to advance, location is going to be key at any point in time. And I think when China decides to push all its a new economic zone at the border of ASEAN, it sends a very great and intentional message into them wanting to achieve their goal of reaching the entire world.
Yes, I totally agree. It's just like typical Singaporean, driving from Jurong West to East Coast is like, wow, very far. Okay, I'm just kidding. But anyway, we have a lot of comment coming in. Andrew actually wanted to know who was the winner of the last year competition.
Okay, there were two winners last year. So this competition has two categories. One of it is the comprehensive category, and the other is the startup. So what is a comprehensive category? Well, the comprehensive category are for startups that are at a more advanced stage with an MVP product already. And for the startup category are for those teams that are probably students or anyone above 18, and they have a great idea, just a great idea. They can participate. Right. So one of the winning teams last year, its founder is called Andre Stoltz. He's a German based in Singapore, and he came out with this product. This sponge, and this sponge has this special ability that if you that in any liquid, it will only absorb oil. Any liquid,
that's amazing.
Oil, right. So his product came across under the green the green the push
the eco campaign thing, kind of thing. Yeah, okay.
Yes, exactly. And then the other winner of the startup category, she's actually a student, a uni student in Thailand. Her name is Nipe, right? A wonderful lady, great sense of humor, and she has a heart for people with Alzheimer's. And Alzheimer's, we agree, it is a first world problem, right?
Yes.
It's a part of the aging population. I think in Thailand there's a growing aging population, and Alzheimer's was starting to. The rates were increasing quite high. So she came out with this particular device to not only help Alzheimer's patients integrate more seamlessly into society, but also help their family members track them, manage them, watch their movements, or if they would fall with the gyroscope, detect a sudden fall, right? So this particular tech won the startup category last year.
Nice. So early on, you were saying that you have two types of category. One which is a startup category, and then the other one will be the comprehensive category, right? So does it mean that for the startup category, even there's no age limit to it, and even though you are broke, you don't have a single cent, you're still able to participate in this competition and make your way or make a business right into China Nanning, right?
Right. So
can I say that?
That in a nutshell, yes and no. Yes, because the age limit is 18 and above, and it is open to anyone who has an idea that can provide a boost in the smart city initiatives or smart city living in China. When I say no, it's because we want to take the best ideas, right? And there's only so many people we can take to bring into China at any one time. So I think the best way I could say that for those who really want to go far in this competition is to take this competition seriously, think extremely long term, have a strong business plan, right? On top of that, see how in the Chinese vertical or smart city living, how can you solve a problem that's existing in their society today? Yeah, these are some of the things that last year's participants and winners took into consideration, and that's why they went pretty far.
Yeah, I'm very amazed with the German guy who came up with a sponge that you can actually absorb only oil. That is, wow, that's a fantastic idea, isn't it? All right, we have hello, Catherine in the house. Hi, nice to have you on the show of Prime Time with Sylvia, the special edition. Andrew also said that ASEAN and China connection has deep roots, and this competition will take it to the next level. Do you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I believe China and ASEAN always had a special relationship. It is no coincidence that a vast majority of ASEAN, we have ethnic roots back into China. And I think that's one of the reasons why it makes a lot of sense for China to try to bring ASEAN back into China, because in terms of integration, it's going to be way more seamless. And talking about South China, right? In South China, people are a bit more tan. Their accent isn't so... their Chinese accent is quite similar to ours as well, right?
Yes.
And similar culture. So in terms of integration, there's a lot of similarities. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why China sees ASEAN as a key strategic partner, to globalization.
I see. Okay, and now we have Ai Hui, who actually say that 一带一路. I think it's talking about the Belt Road that you're speaking of earlier on. Yes, and Asher also say that it's a beautiful and advanced city. Wow, Asher, I believe you have been to Nanning before. Personally, I've not been to Nanning before, so I hope I'll be able to visit Nanning soon. Okay, and Andrew also said that Nanning is a city in southern. It seems like he heard me. Straight away, he introduced me to Nanning. It's a city in southern China near the Vietnam border, and is the capital of Guangxi region with a warm tropical climate. It's also known for green spaces such as People's Park, which includes expensive White Dragon Lake, a hilltop fort, and also a botanical garden. Okay, and he also said a startup of a company or project begun by an entrepreneur to seek develop a valuable and scalable economic model. All right, 好棒好棒哦 Andrew Chao 有问很多问题. Next question he asked is something that I already want to ask. But hang on, okay? Andrew, you got to stay with us. Everybody got to stay with us. This is getting more and more exciting. If you have just joined us, this is, of course, Mr. Caleb Low. He is the Organizing Chair of the 2020 China-ASEAN New Smart City Innovation and Entrepreneurship Competition. All right? Now, the next question I have for you, very, very important, okay? Are you able to tell me what kind of startups are the panel of judges looking for? I know you have spoken earlier on, there's something that will contribute to the smart city of Nanning, something that is very eco-friendly. Any other things?
Right. So I think if I put it very generically, is that we're looking at smart city living in China, right? What is the future of living? What is it going to look like? So to best answer that is to observe the vertical of any smart cities, from the glamour, the external glamour of the very smooth roads, or to the big LED lights that are crazily energy saving, all the way down to how the mechanisms, the operations of how a smart city works, right? So anywhere within the vertical, if you have a product or an idea that can impact this vertical positively, and that is what we are looking for. Most of the time, when it comes to smart city living, there's probably going to be a lot of big data involved in the use of IoTs. I believe that for Nanning, in terms of how do you maintain the roads, Nanning is 3 times the size of Singapore, Nanning city itself. So the road networks are going to be in the millions, hundreds of thousands or maybe millions of miles in terms of their road networks. So how does a smart city maintain this level of quality of roads across millions of miles? Well, they use technology, right? And I believe in this case, a certain type of IoT or Internet of Things. This allows them to create measurable outcomes and base their decisions on the data that they receive, right? So the answer to that question is to look across the vertical, right, of smart city living in China. How can your idea improve or solve one problem that China is currently facing? And this is what these are the kind of startups that the panel of judges are looking for.
And I believe, did you just drop a very huge hint that infrastructure is something that's very important to be one of the criteria that you guys are looking for? Or did I get it wrong?
Infrastructure is one of many things that the government is looking at, because some could be a hardware-based product, some could be a software-based product. So it's still going to be very general. It's just going to be still going to be more general. Right? I wouldn't just nail it down to purely infra, because that will limit a lot of great ideas that are happening, across ASEAN today.
Definitely. But would you be favoring infrastructure innovations more?
I believe people will be favoring impact. People will be
Okay.
favoring
Change the
impact.
world. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
We're looking at what the Nanning City stands for, right? Nanning City, its sole purpose is to connect ASEAN into China across the One Belt, One Road. Secondly, all the smart city initiatives that are going to be rolled out here will then be rolled out across the rest of China. Right, and we look at the government in the past 3 years. They took a barren piece of land and they built a new Nanning City there. There's already a Nanning City. They are building a new Nanning City on a bare piece of land. When I went there 2 years ago, most of the buildings were at almost close to TOP level, right? And surrounding the CBD, the new CBD, there were 1 million residential units that were being built as well. So this gives you an idea, on the intention that the government has for this city, and it's going to push it at all costs, right? So if we want to find a place, to fit within the Nanning economic ecosystem, they're looking for how do you impact China and even beyond.
That's great. All right. Okay. How about what are the judging criteria for this competition?
That's a very good question. So I believe, Sylvia, that you have with you the judging criteria.
Yes, I do. All right. Okay, we're going to show you the judging criteria over here while Caleb going to speak to you a little bit more over here. This is the judging criteria, which is for project plan, right? So please do, Caleb, tell us a little bit more, give us a little bit more hints.
All right. So for the ASEAN Division Finals, as well as the grand finals virtually held in Nanning, right, there are going to be 2 sets of criteria at any one time. The first set of criteria is based on the project plan, based on the pitch that you deliver, right? How do you score in terms of innovation and creativity, public service, a commercial value, marketing strategy, as well as the ROI. So these are the basic 5-step fundamentals for any startups to prove that they can thrive in any environment. Okay, so beyond just these 5 categories, it's not just about having innovation, public service, commercial value, all the way to ROI, but also how is this going to be relevant to Nanning or China's Smart City initiative. So long as you score well on these 5 points in the context of China's smart living, you're probably going to have a very good chance to advance and win privileges within this competition.
Are they of equal percentage, or is there a heavier weightage on any of the, like, for example, innovation or, ROI?
Right.
Is there a heavier percentage? Yeah.
I'll need to double check on that if you don't mind. So we can cover that. What I'll do is I'll cover this. I'll cover it in detail, like the scoring system at the end of this segment during the Q&A portion. Right. So I think here it's focus on the high level stuff to give you a feel. If you like to know the nitty-gritty, okay, we can reveal it to you at the end of today's session.
Definitely. Because you know why, Caleb? The moment your teaser video went out, I have a lot of my clients and even my friends who are asking me, what is this all about? What are the judging criteria? I have this thing. Am I able to bring it into China? China market is somewhere where everybody wants to be in. So that's why I'm tasked to, drill Caleb to know a little bit more about our judging criteria. All right, we have another set of judging criteria, which is the pitch performance too, right?
Yes. So the first project plan criteria, that's based on your pitch, right? Here is based on how you perform when you answer the judges' Q&A, right? We're going to allocate around 5 minutes or a bit more for the judges to question you, to dig, to find, to get their mumbo jumbo thoughts clarified, right? So it's not just about having a good pitch, but it's also how do you present your on-site defense, right, in a very clear, very concise method, so that the judges are clear, right? And when they are clear, you're in very good hands already. Secondly, is how do you answer their questions accurately? Because these judges, they are very sharp. The judges that we have brought in for the ASEAN division, they have had vast experience working in China, doing angel investings. They are very involved in venture capitalists, and they also work with a large network of startups as well. So these are the questions that they're going to want answered, and they must know that you have what it takes to break into China. So how you present yourself, the performance during the live Q&A, that will be very key, because it's not just about judging the project. You are going to be judged as the founder, and sometimes that's what matters more for in various angel investing programs, right?
I agree. You know what? I have a little bit of a Shark Tank vibes coming in for the pitch performance on this competition. Well, but I would love to know, winners. How many winners will that be? Will there be only one winner? And what happened if I've come so far, come to the finals, but I did not win, I did not get a championship? I mean, what will happen to the rest of the participating team? Will they have a chance?
Right. So we are going to be sending the top 16 teams to the grand finals virtually held in Nanning, right? And these top 16 teams, they will be mentored very closely with our SD mentors here in Singapore. On top of that, we're also going to hand them over to Cloud Bay to continue the competition in Nanning. And this is the thing about Cloud Bay, based on my experience last year. One of the strategic advisors of Cloud Bay, right, and he is working very closely with the Chinese government as well as some of the biggest MNCs in China, right? He till today is still in touch with some of the grand finalists of last year's competition, right? Not because it was in black and white, where it was a promise, but because he has a strong desire to see ASEAN startups thrive. So till today, he's still in touch with them, and any questions they have, he will still answer them. So there's some of the privileges that occur just because Cloud Bay has a very strong relationship with ASEAN, right? On top of that, for those who qualify for the finals, right, you'll be pitching in front of a televised audience in Nanning, and Nanning audience is
millions.
Massive,
You were
right?
saying
Correct.
earlier on, yes.
Right. Exactly.
Yes. Wow.
And every time they pitch, it could be an idea that could sit well with a potential investor or with somebody who sees potential in this idea and how he could assimilate it into his product. So there's always going to be many opportunities, so long as you're very sure about what is the solution what's the problem you're solving, and you know the space that you are targeting, and just dominate that space.
I must say that is a little bit more about networking too, and having a opening or opportunities to move into China market. Because there will be a lot of people who say that why should I participate in this competition? I can always bring my business right into China anytime I want to. But the problem is you do not have the opening doors for you. You don't have a platform whereby you pitch in front of millions of people, whereby any one of them could just happen to be one of them who might be a sponsor or might be an investor. Am I right to say that?
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Coming to about joining a competition, there's something that a lot of people is very worried about. We always worry about, after we pitch and you told us that no, you need to get in even to the finals or whatever, and they might just steal your idea and do it on their own. So I have this question for you. How do you protect the intellectual properties of the participants?
Right. So that's a fantastic question, Sylvia. I think this is a concern, not just in this competition, but in almost any competition as well. And I believe sometimes it doesn't even take a competition for this to happen. It can happen even without a competition. So I think
it can happen in a coffee shop too.
Exactly. And it probably has. Right. So I think the first thing and foremost is our advice every single startup is to, firstly, if you want to be serious in breaking into China or breaking anywhere in the world, we have to be ready, because in the real world, it's not always a bed of roses. However, this is what I know for last year's competition. During the ASEAN division finals, right, one team had a very good idea and it impressed the strategic advisor of Cloud Bay, right? And what he wanted to do, and what this strategic advisor wanted to do was to eventually connect this team with one global MNC in that particular industry. However, this is what the strategic advisor said. I'm not going to connect the two of you right now because in case something unforeseen happens, I want to make sure that you go to Nanning and pitch on a global audience so that the timestamp wise, that was your idea first. This becomes your protection score. So it's only after they pitch in front of the live audience on Nanning, that's the proof that they had the idea first. Then he made the connection. So I think we as the organizers, we understand the nuances and certain concerns. And so these are some of the measures that we take to protect the great ideas coming out of ASEAN.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
On
I think
top
this
of
is
that-
very, very important. Yeah.
Actually, on top of that, this is also a government level competition. So it is hosted by the Nanning government, who wants to build great ASEAN relationships. And one of our core organizing partners is Scape Singapore, which is tied to our National Youth Council. In fact, Mr. David Chua, our Chief Executive of National Youth Council, was one of our opening address guest of honors for our launch event. And I believe he will continue to be a very big part of this competition in the weeks to come as well.
Okay, wow, that is great because I guess that is the most important part for a lot of participants. But like what you say, this is done on a very huge scale. I believe like integrity, and we even have experiences from Caleb who shared with us earlier on that they pitch on TV with millions of people before they connect the team with the investors. Am I right to say that, right? All right, we have comment coming in over here. Somebody actually, Paul actually say hello, Caleb. Hello. Say hi to Paul. Paul, do
Hey,
you
Paul.
happen to be having an idea, an innovation, or anything that would love to join us to participate in this competition? All right, there's something else that Andrew actually say. Smart cities aren't just a concept or a dream of the future. Thanks to the widely innovative Internet of Things solutions, which is LOT that Killa was speaking about earlier on, many are already active and expanding rapidly. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. In fact, IoT is part of the entire ecosystem to track all the data flowing in and out of the city. So this is what I saw last year, and it was any tech geek will drool by what they saw. So last year, after the ASEAN Division finalists held in Scape Singapore in Orchard Road, right? What we did was that we invited all the grand finalists back the next day. And we had Cloud Bay just to congratulate them and to introduce them on a more personal level. And one of the managers of Cloud Bay, he actually got a clearance from the Nanning government and Cloud Bay to show live war room data flowing through Nanning City at that point in time.
Wow.
So with the war room
Okay.
data, we had this massive screen in front of us. An example of war room data is based on the entire MRT network. What is the inflow and outflow of passengers at any one time? What are by the split second transactions going on in the MRT? What are the dust levels occurring at this particular point in the corner of the city? And then why is this dust level monitoring important? Is it because of of haze? I've got to mask up. No. So apparently in the industrial in the commercial building sector, right, we build buildings using sand, right? And there are two types of sand. There is sea sand and there is riverbank sand. Now, we all know that sea sand is in more abundance than riverbank sand. However, for creating buildings, the law is to use riverbank sand. So throughout history, we have heard of many developers trying to skive and buy cheaper illegal sea sand. And this is the behavior of somebody who is doing something illegally, right? When the sand comes, they'll quickly dump it as soon as they can and get rid of the evidence, right? That's the behavior of someone who's doing something wrong. And because of this instant dumping, it will create this sudden spike in dust levels around construction sites. That's what IoT is able to do. It gives us data to make certain to come up with certain conclusions, right? And we're able to then go and check what's happening here. Is there something wrong with our system? How do we increase it? So IoT does wonders, not just for smart city living, but to reduce illegal activities as well.
Wow, that is very, very impressive, I must say. And okay, Paul also say once again, just love to watch both of you. Oh, that's so sweet of you. Thank you so much, Paul, for
Thanks,
supporting our
Paul.
Prime Time with Sylvia special edition. And I think it's very, very important to talk to Caleb, because people out there, just like what Caleb has said earlier on, it's only when our backs are pushed against the wall, right? That's when innovative idea will spring forth. And you never know. Go and sleep tonight, sleep on it. You never know. You might have a wonderful $1 million idea that you might be entering into China Nanning. All right. And I think Andrew have given us a very good short form of everything: big data input, IoT, sensor and collection, artificial intelligence, massive decision making programs, and quality of life and smart city. Thank you very much, Andrew. Another smart person over there, huh? Just like you. All right, now, Caleb, how about telling us, in closing, as we wrap up the conversation for tonight, what are the future growth and success in the future that you see for the participants?
Right. I believe that the future is very, very bright. I think observing how the Singapore government and the Chinese government is working very, very closely, it states a lot about the intention of where both parties plan to move forward in the near future. I think one of the key things that we see is how do we firstly improve the relationship of China and ASEAN, especially if we're going to be working even more closer as the One Belt Road makes us even more united. Right. Secondly, when we talk about future growth, the best is to look at what is the China government doing today that will give us an indication of what tomorrow could be like. And I think I'd like to refer back to what I mentioned earlier. Nanning City has a population of just over 7.2 million as of 2018, right? And on top of that, when I went there 2 years ago, right, they created a brand new city out of nothing, right? And the government is based in that brand new city, and their aim is to bring the best China talents into Nanning, the best ASEAN talents into Nanning, so that this becomes a regional hub for strong economic activity to happen there. What we're doing right now with the startups, right, is to not just have a startup competition, but we're also going to offer opportunities. If Cloud Bay sees potential, and if the startup is willing to have programs that allows very close mentoring. So one thing about startups is that they have a good idea, right? But sometimes when we left to themselves, they lack the guidance, the mentoring of a good program. So what Cloud Bay has done is that there's this new building called the Smart City Innovation Center. It's a state-of-the-art incubator and startup center, strong program, and they plan to provide great opportunities for startups to thrive there. So if you were to go to our website, I believe you can show the link somewhere down below.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. There you are. This is where you get to
you
register.
Realize,
is this the website?
Exactly. you realize a few things that some of the things that they are willing to do if it is the right project. For teams who are willing to break into Nanning, there's going to be a lot of what do you call that?
Barriers? No.
The Chinese government is going to open up, going to make it easier for teams to settle down. So, for example, rent reduction could be bonus and other supporting services such as training, management consulting, mentorship guidance, patent applications, innovation resources. There is things like interest-free bank loans. All these things are going to be provided if both parties see that it is a right move going into Nanning to develop this idea, right? So I think this shows you the heartbeat of this competition, the heartbeat of China and ASEAN, and how we want to continue building this, because when ASEAN and China thrives, it's going to benefit us a lot. Yeah.
Definitely. That means they are really very sincere, and they have offered a lot of benefits, and they have brought down a lot of barriers for ASEAN startups to actually strive in Nanning itself, right? Okay, right. And not only on this webpage that you're able to register. All right. I know people are very lazy nowadays. So you know what? I also prepare a QR code. There you are. This is where we are calling for all the best startups in ASEAN. And of course, it's called One Pitch Away from Breaking Borders. All you need to do is to scan the QR code over there and join them for the competition. But I know the closing date have been moved forward, right? Or no, have been extended. Have you extended the closing date for the competition?
Okay, so that's a good question. Thanks, Sylvia. The closing date stands at 10th of October 2359. That's 2 Saturdays from now. That is the deadline. So we currently have just over 45 teams who have registered in the past two weeks, right?
Okay.
And we can only accept the top 20 to 25 teams per category, right, for our ASEAN division finals. So my recommendation to you is come and go and check the link, go and do all your research, and if you think that you have an idea that can thrive in China, come. For those of you who are curious on what is Nanning, never hear before, even Caleb has only been there once, and that was 2 years ago. How can we know more? You know what? Actually, what's going to happen tomorrow live?
Okay.
We've invited a startup consultant, a Singaporean startup consultant who has been based in Nanning for the past 3 years. She's an investor in an educational tech company there, and she's going to be the best person to share about what it's like living in Nanning, what are the difficulties, what are the challenges people might face there, what's the culture there like, how do you as a business owner who is new and green thrive and find your feet there quickly. For those of you who are really curious, this is going to be the best platform. If you can't make it for the live session tomorrow, don't worry. It's going to be recorded on Facebook anyway, so you can always jump back to it at a later time. So don't miss it out tomorrow at 12:30 on our Facebook page. I believe I'll send you the link in very short.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sure. Send it over to me.
Link,
All right. And of course, if you have just joined us, don't worry. Although we are wrapping up the conversation with the Organizing Chair of China-ASEAN New Smart City Innovation and Entrepreneurship Competition 2020. All right. Do not worry, because this live video will be still on our Prime Time with Sylvia. Now, this is specially done, a special edition, because we want you to strive. If you have an idea or any innovation, please do join this competition. Now, this is where you're able to win a lot of cash prizes. Oh yeah, talking about cash prizes, I would love to know how much cash prizes will there be?
All right, so a grand total of 320,000 renminbi will be disbursed to our top winners. So the top winners will be first, second, and third, plus 3 consolation prizes.
That's nice. All right. And what Caleb was saying earlier on, if you'd love to know a little bit more about Nanning from a subject matter expert, okay, do join us on Facebook tomorrow at 12:30 p.m., right? 12:30 p.m. is okay. Yes. All right. And they get to come in and ask any questions also. Is it open?
Any questions? Yes.
Okay. That's great.
That's all I have to say. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Once again, let me show you one more time. All right, there you are. This is the QR code. Do scan it, okay, over here. And of course, don't miss any opportunity. Especially missing opportunity can be very, very expensive, especially during this pandemic season. All right, so you might never know. You might be the one bringing a great innovation into the city of Nanning. All right. Once again, thank you very much, Caleb, for joining me, the director of 2B Campus, and he is also the organizing chair of China-ASEAN New Smart City Innovation and Entrepreneurship Competition. Thank you very much for taking time off, Caleb. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget to like this video and share it. You might have a lot of people around you who might have that idea, and bring them on and join this competition. Meanwhile, thank you very much to all viewers who joined us. Thank you very much, Caleb. And I hope everybody, you have a great evening. Thank you. I'm named Sylvia, signing out. Bye.
very warm welcome to the China-ASEAN New Smart City Innovation and Entrepreneurship Competition 2020.
This competition seeks to bring ideas to benefit cities, to benefit the broader society and people in China.
If you have an idea or a product that can impact lives, the world needs to hear your voice.
The competition is open to founding entrepreneurs passionate about launching projects and also reach more youth professionals and attract them to come to learning.
I think it's important that we continue to find opportunities for young people in China, ASEAN and Singapore to work together to find ways to innovate and find solutions for smart cities. Extraordinary times like COVID-19 require extraordinary courage.
It is when our backs are pushed against the wall that is when the best innovative and game-changing ideas spring forth. And that is what this competition is about. It is to bring the best smart city innovation ideas across ASEAN together.
Smart learning aims to benefit the public, enterprise, and also governments, and focus on supporting a batch of international projects.
The event was well organized and the hospitality was incredible. So both in Singapore, where Startup X last year organized it, hospitality was really good, as well as by Cloud Bay in China.
Being able to actually share our ideas with all the different startups, learning from each other, seeing which other components we could improve on, I think that was very helpful in understanding the different components that we could.
I would like to invite youth professionals to join the 2020 competition.
If you're a startup in ASEAN who's ready for a challenge and has an innovation or an idea, we want to give you a voice so that you can impact lives.
Whether your ideas are ultimately winning entries or maybe not, that you will find within yourself the ability to enjoy the experience and learn from each other.
Take courage, don't stop innovating.
You have one pitch, let's break borders.